Welcome in to the first annual Clay, Sean, and Ready Teddy McRaney Super Bowl kickoff live stream from Cameron's Garage here inside Cypress Point Resort out off Hollybush Road. And I think technically it's Brandon. I'm not going to get into the Brandon Flowwood argument today, but we're out here in East Rankin County. I think we can agree on that, right? This is East Rankin.
It's definitely East Rankin.
Yeah. I'm saying East Rankin.
East Rankin County, off Lakeland Drive. The old McLean's Lodge. Throw that into the old Googleator, hit directions, and come on out here. We are going to have a big old time today. We're going to be on here live till about 2 p.m., and then we're going to pass the baton to the awesome, talented guys in acoustic Crossroads. Don Grant, Sonny Brooks, and company. They're already up here. They're going to be, if you happen to see a band setting up in front of us and they end up in the camera stream, that's called rock and roll, baby. And sometimes that's what happens. So we're really excited to be out here today as we lead up to kickoff of Super Bowl 58. Is it 58? Or 59?
59.
Yeah, it's LIX, right?
Yeah, 59.
Yeah, 59.
I had to think for a moment.
Super Bowl 59. You know, it's just funny because I had not even seen the number until this morning. I just been seeing the Roman numeral, and we've about reached peak Roman numeral. The Clay don't know what they are.
Yeah, that's. I'm not gonna lie. The only reason I know is because I Googled it the other day.
Yeah, I forgot the L is 50. The L is 50, and then the 1 is minus the X. So, yeah, Super Bowl 59.
Yeah, and I just remember it was just feels like it was Super Bowl 50 yesterday. Was that the Peyton Manning, I guess,
Was that?
Broncos Super Bowl or something?
Seems right.
Yeah, I think around there.
Yeah, don't get me to line.
Yeah,
Don't get me to
like
line. Well, look, man, we got a big old party planned here today. It's been powered by our friends at Southern Beverage. That's Bud Light, Mick Ultra, Budweiser, Busch Light, and more great premium beers, courtesy of those guys out there at Southern Beverage. What does that mean for you? That means buckets of beer on the low. That's right, all domestic beers, and in particular, the previous ones I just mentioned are discounted today. There's food specials all day. And look, man, they've added some new items to the menu. We're going to be telling you about that and more. I see a Philly cheesesteak. I see sliders. They got pulled pork nachos. They got this thing called a tater keg. Teddy?
Tater keg.
For whatever reason, I see tater keg and you come to mind.
Tater keg.
That is 5 tater kegs topped with white queso, cheddar cheese, bacon bits, and green onions. And from this point forward, I want tater kegs thought of when you think of me.
Is that gluten free or?
I'm going to take a hard no. Take a hard no on that one.
Tater cake sounds like a fat boy workout program.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I don't know, for whatever reason, you are not where I want you to be volume-wise. Let's try that again.
For whatever reason, tater cakes sound like a fat boy workout program.
Yep. Hey, also, man, they have added Southwest egg rolls to the menu, and I had some of these. I did a tasting with them Friday night. The Southwest egg rolls are really good, and they come with like a sweet and sour dipping sauce. So look, man, they got tons of food here today. We'll tell you more about it. I ain't gonna bog you down here on the front end of this. It's Chiefs. It's the Eagles. It's a rematch from a couple years ago. A lot of history on the line today. Can the Chiefs three-peat? It'll be the first time ever that a team has three-peated. Not won 3 Super Bowls, but won 3 in a row. Very interested. I mean, personally, I'm pulling for the Chiefs because I want to see history, but I love an underdog too. So I don't have a whole lot of skin in the game as far as who I want to win, but I feel like we're watching, and I know we've talked about this at nauseum. Yep. We are watching history being made with every snap that Patrick Mahomes takes, in my opinion. Yep. We're watching Jordan in his prime. And even more so, in my opinion, than Tom Brady. We didn't appreciate Tom Brady, I think, initially. We thought he was a system quarterback. And, of course, he beat respect into us and became the GOAT. Ain't no doubt about it.
20 years, right? Yeah, he did, yeah.
To me, it's about year 15.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to lie.
To really, okay, all right, he's not a system quarterback. And then when he went to Tampa and won one without Belichick, it rubber stamped it.
That was the one that did it. And of course, since I'm a huge Miami Dolphins fan, he's in our division. We played him twice a year. And so every year, I would sell myself on, he's a system. It's Belichick. It's Belichick. And then that Tampa thing happened, and I was like, nope, it ain't Belichick. It's not. Nope. Guess that's not it. It's him.
That's it, man.
If you remember, after that first Super Bowl that Brady was in against the Rams, you all remember that. He was kind of a hero because I think people were sick of the Rams already at that point. That was their second Super Bowl in a row,
right.
And kind of sick of that greatest show on turf thing,
That's what it was.
And and I still think, I don't think that team was that great, talking about those Rams teams, but I mean, they were good, but I don't, not like what we're seeing with the Chiefs and those sorts of things. But Brady was kind of like, that was such a great Super Bowl, if you remember it. And then after that, he became hated after he won a few more. So
I would have liked to have seen the Rams team win back-to-back. I liked that team.
Did you?
They were fun to watch, and I love Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
I really do. His story.
It's a great one.
And look, and I know it got beat upside the head. And ironically, I made a post. I took a picture of our little rig today with the banner behind us. And I said, I know people are tired of the "look how far we've come" post, or how far I've come. But I said, look how far we've come as a team, whether it's us, the listeners, everybody that's involved in creating these opportunities for us. Sure. I think Kurt Warner's story, people got tired of it. People got tired of hearing from grocery bagger.
That was it.
To barnstorming to the NFL. You couldn't appreciate his talent without having to hear that first. And it was finally like, I'm tired of this guy. I'm tired of seeing his bald wife.
Yeah, was what I remember.
Wow. Yeah.
So Lindsay and I were watching that movie 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know the story, but I was explaining what I remember about Kurt Warner was, I was like, his wife's not as hot as I thought she would be, for the star quarterback when you would see her. And
we didn't plan on talking about this at all, but just, felt like we got clubbed upside the head with the backstory constantly.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was really pulling for him. I liked him a lot, and I don't know. So with all that said, we didn't respect Brady until later in his career, and they anointed Mahomes a little early. I thought, he's the next great one. And man, had he not lost the Super Bowl, he'd be going for number 5.
Oh God!
In his first 7 years, 8 years,
incredible.
7 years as a starter.
Yeah.
So I thought about something else today. Speaking of history, now I thought about this on the way in. Somebody maybe can prove me wrong here, but let's just say the last 25, 30 years, if the Eagles lose, are they becoming a bit of? I know they won one. I know they won one. So this maybe ain't the greatest analogy. Are they becoming a bit of like the Buffalo Bills? This will be this is their 4th Super Bowl to be in the last 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
And this will be if they lose, it'll be their 3rd to lose.
Wait, you're talking about this is their 4th Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost one with Andy Reid. They lost 2 years ago to the Chiefs. They're in it this year, and they won one. So this is their 4th Super Bowl.
They won one with their backup quarterback, Nick Foles.
Right. Yeah. So
Nick Foles, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
So will maybe I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Is there another team that will have lost? And I'm jinxing the Chiefs all to hell right here.
That's it.
But just assuming the Eagles lose, is there another team that's been to and lost 3 Super Bowls in the last 20 years?
I mean,
The
Buffalo
Patriots
Bills
lost 2.
4 in a row. The Buffalo Bills lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, that was in the 80s, 90s,
yeah,
right?
It's 30 years. See,
30 years.
This is the 90s messes me up because when you say 20 years, I'm like, 1995, but it's like 30 years now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Eagles lost one also in the early 80s when Dick Vermeil was our coach.
That's right. But excluding that, but modern era.
Right. Okay.
Would this put them as another team in the last 25 years lost 3 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so, but I can't say they're in the Bills category because they are.
They won one.
Well, they won one, but they're also losing to greatness. I mean, you're going to lose to a team that's going for 3
That's
in a row.
right. The Bills lost to. Well, the Bills did lose to two dynasties, the 49ers and the Cowboys.
Right.
Yeah, 2 Cowboys teams. Actually lost to 2 Cowboys teams.
2 Cowboys teams.
Back. Yeah, they lost to the
Giants
Redskins and the Redskins and 2 Cowboys teams.
Yeah.
4, yeah.
And the Redskins story is crazy because every one of theirs was with a different starting quarterback, wasn't it?
Yeah, that year was actually Mark Rippon, who nobody really ever heard much from him again. I mean, he did a few things. His daughter was playing Arena League football last I heard.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Lingerie?
Yeah, the lingerie one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
was she?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he kind of came out of nowhere that season, and they beat him. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I mentioned that documentary many times about the Buffalo Bills. Really, if you got to give them credit for going to 4 in a row, just getting there can you imagine that kind of grind? Like going to 4 in a row, that's tough. I mean, but I guess the Chiefs are near that. I mean,
if it's really a job, that's a whole lot of overtime.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs are. But is there? Refresh my memory. The Chiefs lost in 2020. No.
Yeah.
The Chiefs lost in 2020 to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's right.
They lost that one. Can you pull it up?
The next year it was the Bengals and the
That's
Rams.
right, the Bengals and the Rams. That's the only other one that they haven't been in.
And they've lost AFC Championship to the Bengals.
7 in a row.
Right.
7 AFC championships in a row. I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that's never been done.
As far as I know, I don't think so.
We need to go back and look historically, but
Yeah.
maybe the Bills were in an AFC Championship they didn't win.
They were in the '89 one, that year that they lost to the Bengals. Speaking of the Bengals, that's an infamous Montana game, Bengals versus 49ers. That's Super Bowl. Yeah,
that's right.
Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, they lost. They were in the AFC Championship game, so they went to 5 in a row that I know of.
That's wild. That's wild. So, kind of staying on course, and you can look that up. What do y'all think? I mean, does that put? I don't know. The Eagles won one, but that was with a different crew.
Yeah.
Different coach, all the different. I don't know if there's any players left from that championship. I know Fletcher Cox is gone, and
Jason Kelsey's gone.
Kelsey's gone. Yeah.
Kelsey's gone. Obviously, both quarterbacks are gone. So
the Patriots played in 8 straight AFC title games.
Okay.
The Patriots did.
Yeah. Shame on me for not thinking about that. That is wild. We talk about that 10-year gap between Super Bowls, or between Super Bowl victories anyway, and we don't even think about the AFC Championship games, because with the Patriots, they're judged on Super Bowl wins.
Right. Yeah.
And nothing else. Yeah, Super Bowls or nothing. That is a hell of a standard to be disappointed by. Alabama fans are kind of in that same category too. It's national championship games or bust, and anything else is a failure.
Let me ask you all this. Speaking that we're on this train of thought, what do you think this does for Andy Reid? And what I mean by that, because we always talk about Mahomes and he's the kind of the star, but Andy Reid has taken his team to 7 AFC Championship games in a row. If he wins the Super Bowl, it'll be 4 Super Bowls out of the last 5 or 6. And then you got to remember what he did with that Eagles team. Speaking of the Eagles,
he went NFC Championship games
4 in a row. He went to 4 in a row. 1 Super Bowl loss. I mean, he's got to be in the conversation of the top 5 coaches of all time. He's got to be in the conversation.
Absolutely.
If
you don't win another game.
If not higher.
If not, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy, Vince Lombardi, obviously. Well, number 1 is Belichick.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah. I would say so.
Yeah. Number 1 right now, Belichick. Number 2, Vince Lombardi, I guess.
I guess just in general, like historical significance, yeah. I mean, I would think. I mean, I don't know if they.
I mean, Al Davis. I mean, I tell you what.
Don Shula is in that. He's got the most wins.
Yeah.
Winning coach.
But he did coach for a long time. I mean, I don't want to put an asterisk there because he coached for a long time. He's coached for a long time because he was good.
Yeah, he coached for about 25, 26, 27 years. Long time.
That's wild.
Long time.
Wild. These guys make so much money. Now, here's my concern about Mahomes reaching that number. Playing long enough to become the GOAT. Does he have it? Does he have it in him to play long enough to do it?
That's the thing, right?
Or does he have to play that long at this pace?
Yeah, right.
10, 12 years. He can call it a career without having to go 20.
Yeah, he could. I mean, but it's kind of like you were just talking about that there was that gap between Patriots' greatness. Sustaining this is going to be very difficult. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job. But how long can you go? I mean, there's an end time for everybody.
How long can you pick in the bottom of the draft?
Yeah.
And continue to be great. And that's what separated the Patriots from anybody is and it eventually came back to get them.
Yeah.
The last few years it's come back to get them because you can only draft at the bottom of every round for so long, and everybody else drafting better than you, they're going to catch up.
Yeah.
And you've seen that happen.
That's exactly right. I think it's
that's the way the NFL is built. Sorry.
No, it is. No, it's true. I mean, it's hard to sustain that kind of success anyway. I mean, people leave the team too. Like they're talking about this morning, I was reading about Kelsey may retire if they win. That is a possibility. So,
I believe he does. I believe he retires if they don't. Well, personally,
I didn't realize this, Clay. He only had 3 regular season touchdowns. It's his lowest ever. They're saying there's been a decline in him, but heck, he's 35 years old now. I mean, there was a time when that's when people started retiring when they played football. And now I know we live this like Michael Jackson hyperbaric chamber era of everybody plays into their 40s because Tom Brady kind of set that standard. But I mean, 35 is a pretty normal time to retire.
He's two postseason touchdowns away from either tying or breaking Jerry Rice's postseason touchdown record.
Really?
He'll tie it today and win the MVP. And I'll tell y'all why.
That's your prediction?
Yeah, and I'll tell y'all why later when we talk about the game.
Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay.
Yeah, Tay. Well, Sean, you may have been reading what I was listening to on the way up here, that Kelsey may retire, because I didn't think about this until I heard it on the way up here. It's the revenue streams that these former players now have through podcasts and stuff, and he's got that podcast with his brother.
New Heights, yep.
Yeah, and it's, players used to hope they could coach, if they want to keep making money after football.
That was kind of their angle, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Just, I mean,
that's what I was going to say about Mahomes. They're making so much money now. He doesn't have to play as long. I mean, he's already part owner of the
Royals.
of the Royals.
Yeah.
He was talking the other day about wanting to bring an NBA and NHL team to Kansas City. Now, I mean, I say a lot of things I want to do, but you know, he's already worth $250 million.
Yeah.
You know, he's making whatever, he write his own check. He ain't never leaving Kansas City. I know we say that about some players, you know, they'll never leave. He ain't never leaving Kansas City.
No, I think you're right. He's part of the community now.
Yeah, I mean, like you know, I know it's hard to fathom Montana leaving, Brady leaving, but you know, crazy things happen. I can't fathom the Hunt family allowing him to ever leave as long as he wants to stay. I don't think he's going to outstay his welcome, I guess is my point.
No.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
he'll retire before he leaves the Chiefs.
right. I mean, you know, yeah, you did see that with Brady, Montana, Marino. Actually, his last year, he was thinking about playing for the Vikings.
You
I
know-
mean, it happens with these guys; they stay a little too long.
You don't have that struggle, that public perception of struggle between head coach and player getting the credit. There was a lot of that in New England with,
Yeah.
is Belichick the reason? Is Mahomes the reason? You don't have that debate in the sports of spear about Reed versus Mahomes.
No, you're right. You never hear that.
I think everybody agrees that it's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah, they're both great, and I think they both respect each other. Like, you know, Belichick and Brady did not get along. And there was a really great article written about 6 years ago about this one of the biggest breakdowns they had was when Belichick drafted Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, yeah.
That was a big problem. And so Tom went to Robert Kraft and complained about this. And Tom was, at this point, by the time they drafted Garoppolo, he was already like 38 years old. So you'd think, and that's why they traded. So Belichick got mad and called his buddy, what's his name? The coach Cal Shanahan, because he's friends with Mike Shanahan.
Yeah.
Said gave him to San Francisco for nothing. That's the way they worked that out.
And he really pissed away a good deal there. Now, of course, Garoppolo
Ended up not being great.
Kind of busted a little bit.
He did.
But didn't he take him to a Super Bowl?
He did that. They lost to the Chiefs. That's the Chiefs' first Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2019 season. Yeah, Garoppolo was. You know, they had a good team, but he kind of seemed like he filtered out. And
He had a lot of draft value. He had a lot of trade value when he
did.
traded.
Oh,
I
at
guess
that
my
time.
point. Could have
He
got a
did.
number one for him.
Oh yeah, at that time, sure, they could have done pretty well with him. Yeah, yeah. Belichick was. I think it was just Belichick was pissed. Yeah. So
Reed and Mahomes probably retired together.
I think Mahomes will last longer. But
Yeah, 'cause-
there's not a true heir apparent. You don't hear nearly as much about the Andy Reid coaching tree.
Mm-mm.
I mean, because I know Eric Bieniemy, there was a big thing about being a minority coach and why wasn't he getting chances? He had won them Super Bowls as the OC there in Kansas City, but apparently it was just a terrible interview and people really didn't give him credit. They knew he wasn't the reason for them winning these Super Bowls.
No, I've heard that too. I've heard, like, you know, just I read as much back channel stuff about sports as you all do. I heard he's like just an asshole.
I've heard that too.
I heard he's just a.
When he ended up at a college, what it would maybe end up at UCLA as an OC or something,
Yeah.
or USC as an OC, or he ended up somewhere and they've agreed to go their separate ways.
Right.
You know, they didn't want to say he got fired because, you know, just public image, but for a California team to fire a minority, it is what it is. That was the public sentiment about it.
Yeah.
And look, maybe there are some coaches I just can't think of off the top of my head. There's probably some glaringly obvious one I can't think of. I'm not as plugged into that as I once was, as far as the OCs and the DCs and all that stuff. But I don't think there's an heir apparent to Reed. Now, this is one of the premier jobs in all of sports right now, with the greatest QB of a generation playing. Any coach would leave and go there right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, like,
right.
what's the guy's name with the Rams?
Oh, Sean McVay.
Sean McVay.
Yeah.
That's one that comes to mind that I think would be a great fit for him.
You're right. That's a great idea. You know,
Kyle
'cause-
Shanahan.
McVay especially, because McVay, like, you can tell he's unhappy in LA.
It does feel that way.
Yeah,
there was talks of him retiring a couple years ago.
He was going to retire. That right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And heck, the guy's. I don't think he's even 40 years old. You know, so like he's going to, you know, talk about retiring and, you know, I don't know. I mean, McVay got hired when he was like 32 years old. He was really young.
Yeah.
He was really young when he got hired. And I could see that. Yeah, I could see him going there. That would be I mean, who wouldn't want to take? And you know, a lot of times these quarterbacks get better in their 30s.
Sure.
They're actually better. And so, can you imagine Mahomes getting better? Like, how does he get better? I mean,
You know, stays in the pocket more.
Yeah.
Quit, you know, extending plays on the outside. And just he doesn't make mistakes, and that's going to be why I think they win today too. By the way, the Eagles have gotten very lucky on being able to capitalize other teams' mistakes.
Yeah,
that's kind of how they're here, and kudos on them. But you can't plan on mistakes.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't bet on mistakes. You can't anticipate. You can anticipate them, but you just don't know when a mistake is going to happen. KC doesn't make mistakes, and Philadelphia capitalizes off of them. And I think that's going to be a fun thing to watch today. Is does KC make a mistake? Does Mahomes make a mistake that Philadelphia can capitalize on? And if they don't, is it a blowout?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because they have I was reading the stat. So it's a Vic Fangio defense in DC, and so Mahomes is like 7-0 against Vic Fangio defenses, which were, like you're saying, thrive on mistakes. And so the Chiefs don't make mistakes. They're not a mistake-prone team.
Yeah, it's how they. We've talked about this ad nauseum. The three of us, me and you, others. We always talk about knowing how to win and being able to close out games.
Yeah.
Right. So not to throw salt on Ole Miss fans, as great of a team as they were this year, their inability to be able to know how to win at the end, to not make mistakes at the end, cost them an opportunity to play for the national championship this year, because they had the talent, they had the coaching, they had everything. Sure. And I think that's what was so valuable about having a team, a core of guys that have been together for a while, like a Kelsey and a Mahomes, and I'm sure there's some other names. But again, I'm not as into the nuts and bolts as I once was.
Over there.
Well, Chris Jones on defense, obviously.
I mean, that's your guy.
These guys know how to close out, and they don't make mistakes at the most important times of the game. I know it's Captain Obvious, but sometimes it is just your Captain Obvious stuff.
I think that's what made the Patriots great. I mean, this is what makes the Chiefs are a machine. I mean, they know how to play football and win games. Even when they don't, everybody thought, oh, they got rid of Tyreek Hill, they're going to suck. Then they go win the Super Bowl. I mean, they're back in the Super Bowl. I think that, they have I hate to use the word system, but it's what it is. It's a system.
It's a winning system.
It's a winning system. Yeah, it's incredible. And
well, I think today's game is, I think it's going to be a shootout, and I say that because the Chiefs are going to do everything they can to stop Saquon Barkley and make Jalen Hurts beat them by throwing, which I know I said Kelsey wins the MVP, but there's a shot at Jalen Hurts. If the Eagles win, it'll be either Jalen Hurts or A.J. Brown.
Or Saquon.
But I think the Chiefs are going to do everything they can to bottle him up as much as possible and make Jalen beat him with his arm.
And I don't think Saquon can beat him by himself. Well, I just think the Chiefs can score so well. Now, I think this has been their lowest scoring per game year.
Yeah.
But they haven't had to.
Well, it's also the Chiefs realize that in order to keep Chris Jones and those defensive players, they have less money to spend offensively. So their offense is not as dynamic as it has been in the past. So you got a balanced team. You got the best kicker in football. You got number one quarterback and the best defensive tackle. So you've got to spread your money around.
Yeah, I mean,
they have a balanced team.
Right, because they've got kind of like a running back by committee system there with Kareem Hunt and all that
stuff. That way you never have to overpay.
Right. Yeah, they do have, and if you think about it, who's the receiver you can name? DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and the only reason I can name Xavier Worthy is because he ran a 4.240 at the combine, or 4.2 something.
And here's the other thing: when was the last time that a team that was anchored by a great running back won a Super Bowl? And I'm not saying it hadn't happened. I'm asking y'all to, seriously, if you know, I would like to know, because it's been a long time since I think a running back, led team, so to say, got carried on their back, put the team on their back and won a Super Bowl.
Well, I'm going to go back to the Rams, because I think even though it's a total different style of offense that we're in now, we're in a much more offensive league now than we used to be, even though the Patriots beat them. Marshall Faulk, but he still was kind of
Terrell Davis. I mean, you got to go back a way to think about, one of these 2,000-yard type rushers. That
Marshawn Lynch in 15, maybe.
That's good, but but that defense, I think the defense gets more credit.
Yeah. They should. The Legion of Boom is the one.
Well,
they were
if your
incredible.
defense is good, you're probably gonna lean on your
you're gonna run the ball more.
Game.
Yeah, it's gonna run the ball more. Yeah.
Because we really don't care if y'all have the ball, because we're gonna stop you anyway.
So, I like Saquon. I've loved watching him this year. I was excited that he went there and you team him up with a good quarterback. I would have loved to have seen, of course, Saquon end up in Dallas, but Dak got hurt. Who knows what would have happened if he had been there and they had a running game.
Right.
So, you never know. But I would have liked to have seen that just as a Cowboys fan. But he went to the Eagles in the division.
Right.
And rushed for 2,000 yards and had the chance to go for the all-time single-season record, but they set him out, which I still think.
He chose to.
Well, I think that's what they told you. I don't. Trust me, he wanted to go for it. Yeah, but I still think even if he had won it, Eric Dickerson is still the man. He did it playing less games.
Yeah.
Getting off course there. Back
about
to this
a
game.
great player that never got to go to a Super Bowl.
I know,
Eric Dickerson.
so many. Mm-hmm.
There's so many of those. Dan Fouts, as it comes to mind. There's a lot of those guys that never even got to go to one.
Speaking of winning today, the reason I'm wearing my Saints stuff is because as soon as this game's over, my Saints are going to win because they're going to hire Kellen Moore, the Eagles' offensive coordinator.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to be honest. I just really felt like John Gruden was the guy for that job. And he's been in New Orleans a lot lately, not just because of the Super Bowl. He's been around that team a lot. And I want to see Gruden back in the NFL. He coached Derek Carr. I just thought, man, if there was ever a team that's perfect for John Gruden, it's the damn New Orleans Saints. I would have loved to have seen it. I would have loved to have seen him in Dallas, and I couldn't be more disappointed with our hire.
Well, the reason I think they're going Kellen Moore is if you're not going to be good, you better be exciting to watch. And I think he's going to bring that offensive mindset. I mean, he did great things with Dak in Dallas. I mean, maybe not in the postseason, but and also I'll carry on with this. Kellen Moore likes a quarterback like that, Prescott, and personally, I think it may open up for the Saints to take Jackson Dart in the second round, which would be a big win for me as an Ole Miss Saints fan.
You'd love that. I can see that. Yeah.
It's always funny over the years. I love listening to Ole Miss fans try to figure out how to angle their players to the Saints. Those Ole Miss Saints fans, there's a bunch of them because of the Archie connection and just the proximity and everything. Right. And it's always entertaining to me watching them try to fantasy book their quarterbacks or players to the Saints and make it make sense. And I'm not saying it doesn't, by the way. Yeah. It's just it's one of the. And it sounds like I'm picking on you. I mean, I kind of am, but it's entertaining and it's fun to sit back and watch sports fans do what sports fans do.
Well, I'll pick back all these state fans that became Cowboy fans because of Dak.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, they're all huge Cowboy fans. Yeah. Well, and the one thing I'll say about state fans becoming. The Dallas Cowboys and the Saints are kind of Mississippi's teams.
Have been forever.
Yeah, I think that you can kind of pick either one if you live here. You ever notice what's kind of funny about that, though? Dallas and Atlanta are the same distance driving pretty much, but I never meet anybody that's like a huge Atlanta Falcons fan in Jackson.
Unless they're from Atlanta.
They've always sucked.
Unless they're from Atlanta.
Unless they're from Atlanta, yeah.
And they're in the same division as the Saints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big thing. And again, they've traditionally sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had their runs and whatnot, but they've just traditionally sucked. And we did have, Jarius Norwood played there for a while from Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And a great running back.
Ran in high school, didn't he?
Yeah, one of the greatest Mississippi State running backs in history, but he played in a downtime.
Yeah.
Same with Anthony Dixon.
Yeah, well, man, Anthony Dixon was good in college too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Man, look, I've had a connection with Dixon and his family going back to them in high school, and they used to come to the clubs and stuff. And then he went to state, being a big state guy.
Because he went to Terry High School, didn't he?
Went to Terry. And he just grew up right down the road from me. He's younger than me, obviously, him and his brothers.
Didn't you bring him over to Keith's house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to I used to party with them some. So just good people, man, fun people. Love the Dixon family. I don't have any sports autographs, but that I've actually pursued. I don't think I have any, except one. I have an autographed Anthony Dixon football, and it's on my bookshelf by the FAFO Championship and all. If you ever see a football on my bookshelf, it's an Anthony Dixon autographed football.
And he went to the 49ers, right?
Went to the 49ers, and he spent some time up there in, where did he play? Up in the north one time. Who was the other team he played for when he left the 49ers? The Bills. He played for the Bills.
Oh, that's right. He did play for the Bills.
Yeah, he loved it there, man. The Bills Mafia. I mean, if there was ever a running back, a dude that was built for that, it's AD.
He's a strong dude.
They love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played up there again. Not the worst times either by any means, but I would love to see him in the league now. Just missed it by a couple of years to get to really do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
He was doing something last I heard, and I haven't talked to him. I don't even know if I follow him on social media after my last account got nuked. I hadn't even thought about it, but he was doing something like for Hinds County Schools with football and all that, kind of like the spokesperson or something or another.
Huh.
Kingfish has got an article up over at JacksonJambalaya.com. He texted and said it may be relevant for us some talking points today.
Chiefs or Eagles?
Yeah, and it's kind of from the culture war perspective. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Here's what he's kind of gotten bold here. It says, so should we favor the Chiefs, right? It's basically talking about the indigenous name, the Chiefs. Maybe it offending people. I was trying to read it here. Let me just. We'll circle back to it.
Yeah.
We'll circle back to it, and because it's a little lengthy, and I was trying to weave it in, but didn't finish. So my apologies. I thought I got to a stopping point.
Well, speaking of culture stuff, something surrounding the Super Bowl, we all saw the reporter that died this week, right? In the Super Bowl. Did you see that?
Got killed by the woman down there in New Orleans.
Yeah. What an interesting. So I read this morning that that his wife had died in a car wreck 2 years ago. There's a big article about a car wreck in Topeka. So I felt bad because he had a 2-year-old daughter now no parents. So that was a pretty sad story. Now that to me was such an interesting situation because I mean we can not to speak ill of the dead, but we can kind of guess what happened here, right? Well,
it is. They were saying that he may have been hooking up with her and got robbed. I mean, but he could have got drugged at the bar. Who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably more likely. This woman has a history of doing that too.
She does. She had a long in Las Vegas. She's done it. Apparently, got caught.
You're sitting there next to a stranger and they buy you a drink or something, and next thing you know, you've been drugged. I mean, who knows? I'm going to lean more towards that. Yeah. Especially when you see her. She's not an attractive lady.
That's what I was wondering about. Like, I'm like, he's a nice-looking news reporter, and then there was this. She kind of looked like a streetwalker,
unattractive hood rat.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I kind of was surprised by that, but then I also think, well, maybe I don't know, maybe he's into that. You never know what people are into, so I just didn't know. But I thought it was interesting. Sad story though.
That is terrible.
Or no, sad story for the guy. He was a reporter for Telemundo, Kansas City.
Oh, is that what it was? Is that what it was?
Yeah, Telemundo, Kansas City.
Just got some breaking news here. The Jets are moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Team informs quarterback he will not return next season.
Oh God! Does Aaron Rodgers retire now? No. Teddy? No.
I don't think so. I think Aaron Rodgers. This is just guessing based on the ego of these guys. And honestly, let's be real here. This guy's making $25-30 million a year right now as starting quarterbacks.
40-50.
Yeah, 40-50. Bro, you play until they won't pay you no more. And that is a flip side, right? About taking that back to Mahomes. How long does he play? I mean, I don't care how much money you have. Who don't need another 30-40 million a year?
Right.
A year.
Hurt or not.
Yeah, so where? Okay, guys. Well, then let's play this game. Who picks up Rodgers before everybody starts pontificating online?
Who's a QB away?
Who is a QB away?
On paper.
That's a good. The Vikings.
The Vikings, but they like their guy. They like that rookie that got hurt.
They do.
The one from Washington.
Mm-hmm. They do like him.
No, he's from Michigan.
Michigan,
McCarthy.
I'm sorry. Michigan. Same game, wrong team.
Mm-hmm.
McCarthy. Yeah, I think they're going to stick. I think they're going to go with him personally. But is there another team?
Detroit Lions.
No,
they're riding with their guy.
You think they'll ride with Goff?
Yeah, they're riding with Goff.
Seattle doesn't have the answer for their quarterback.
But he's talking about a team that's like a quarterback away.
Oh, I got you.
And I'm saying, the Detroit Lions have run it through with Goff a few years. You give it to Rodgers, they got a hell of a team there.
I don't disagree with you at all. But I don't think I'll let Goff walk for a 1-2 year fix.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to pick a quarterback.
You're playing a Peyton Manning and Broncos.
Dan Campbell's not putting up with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's not happening.
Yeah, that's probably
true. No, and more no.
I mean, I'm sure Saints fans are already trying to figure out how Rodgers works in New Orleans.
Now, the Saints are not a quarterback away, but he would, work in New Orleans. I think.
Well, we are 100%. Yeah, they could trade him for Derek Carr, but we're stuck in the Derek Carr situation.
He makes all but about 5 teams better.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, short term, 1-2 years, he makes all of about 5 teams better. But do you mortgage your future for the now?
I mean, well, think about this. Okay, that's a good point. So the Broncos did it 10 years ago with Peyton, right?
Right.
I would do. Okay, if someone
took
told me
10 years to get back to the playoffs.
You know what? If somebody told me we could have Rodgers, the Miami Dolphins, and we go to the Super Bowl next year, I don't care.
I'm with you.
I don't care. I'd do it because we haven't been in. So I'd be like, that 1 year would be worth. Because I'm going to suffer for the next 10 years anyway.
You know what? I like that. When you lay it like that,
I mean,
we're a quarterback away. We screw the future. You don't know what's happening tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has hurt his value in his unwillingness to help the young guy behind him. That hurts his value because with Aaron Rodgers, you don't have him very long, so you want to have a backup plan.
Do you really think he hurt the guys behind him? I mean, what's he supposed to do? Stop and let him play?
Yeah.
No, but I mean, Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith. Alex Smith was such a professional.
He was,
and
yeah.
showed him how to, you know.
I mean,
showed him
he obviously helped Jordan was Love out. I mean, he's pretty damn good after he left.
Well, he was good while he was there.
Well, again, what's he supposed to do?
I mean, just have a
Bench
good
himself and let him play?
No, have a good relationship with him.
Who says they didn't?
Everybody.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, what's the guy supposed to do? You know?
Yeah,
Be a
well,
good
it's kind of
mentor.
interesting because maybe he's just scarred from Favre did that to him.
Well,
you know?
that's the only thing he knows. He
Yeah.
learned it from Brett Favre.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to argue just for the sake of arguing, but I mean, there's a point where, you know, this is my job.
Yeah, maybe,
Come take it.
maybe he does go to Minnesota to follow the complete Brett Favre path.
Yeah, from the Jets,
Yeah.
Packers to Jets
Yeah.
to Minnesota. You know
Yeah.
what? Sold.
If I'm the Vikings, you know, I don't see why it hurts to do that. The other guy you keep him. He's on a rookie contract. He's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could bring in Rodgers.
Not sure what their salary cap looks like. I mean, that's all way above my pay grade. But that is interesting. I thought they would stick it out a year with him, but I guess they want to draft somebody. Maybe
Right.
they feel like they got somebody they can draft, or they feel good in free agency
Right.
somewhere along the way. Surely it's the draft. I can't think of too many good quarterbacks that are floating out there in free agency. Speaking of quarterbacks in free agency, have y'all seen Jameis Winston, the Jameis Winston shit show in New
I've
Orleans?
kind of heard.
He's having a blast, isn't he?
Yeah.
But I mean, surely he's angling for a job off the field with
Yeah,
this
it
because
seems like it.
because he ain't a serious person after
No.
this.
He's got the personality for off-the-field jobs.
He did 100%. I mean, I think he really set himself up
Yeah.
to be the next great commentator. I don't necessarily mean play-by-play or nothing like that, but to maybe replace a Keyshawn
Yeah, in the studio.
in the studio. I don't know what his depth is. I mean, obviously he was starting quarterback in the NFL for damn near 10, or in the NFL for a good 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
You know, he knows football. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, won a national title, played in a lot of big games. You know, I think he set himself up off the field for a big job. Now he's obviously, I think he's working for Fox. He's down there.
That's it right now.
Yeah, it's Fox it's NFL on Fox social media handles. They keep sharing all of his stuff. So I'm guessing he's doing stuff for Fox. But that speaking of, like, that's a pregame show that needs a shot in the arm. It's been the best in the league for years. It's always been my favorite. But those guys are getting old.
Yeah, and I read something about that recently. Didn't they? They lost like Joe Buck and Aikman, right, to ESPN. I think it was a big deal.
Yeah, but
That
they're
hurt them.
the play-by-play.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the game guys. But I mean, like the in-studio guys. You know, I think it's time to replace one of the old fellas.
Like for when Terry Bradshaw finally retires, with as goofy as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I love Terry.
I love Terry
Bradshaw.
too. I think
He's
Terry's personality is perfect for TV. Like
I agree. I like Terry, but like on College Game Day, they kept Lee Corso way too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, up there with Alzheimer's, looking like Joe Biden.
And Al Michaels then is in a similar position now. He's with Amazon full time.
Right.
Now.
Yeah, they only do Thursday night games.
Yeah, and they really wanted. They really want. I actually read an article this week about these these networks and their broadcasting teams and let the Fox thing was, that's why they brought in Tom Brady. You know, like that was a big move for them once they lost Aikman, play-by-play guys, and Joe Buck. So they brought in Brady, which I don't particularly care for Brady's commentary. I don't think it's very good. He doesn't really have the personality in my mind for it.
No.
So.
You know who's gone cold is Tony Romo. Everybody loved him at first.
They did.
Plays, and now, man, you talk about turned on him in a second. He's gone from sweet apple to sour grapes.
He has. He's kind of like, like the way I feel about Chris Collinsworth, who I can't stand as well. I can't listen to Chris Collinsworth ever. I'm like, oh my God, he's just terrible. Yeah, they really need to revamp these broadcast. These guys are getting old. You can bring in some new blood and.
Yeah, but you do it one person at a time. You got to do it one person at a time.
Yeah, I would think that's the best way to do it, right?
Don't just fire the whole desk like they do in the car business.
Yeah, I mean, did you remember like when Drew Brees retired? They got him, and he was I thought he was awful. He was
not very good.
He was
and then he got caught up in bending the knee crap.
Did he?
Yeah, so said something about his grandfather fought in World War II, and he was
remember
the
that?
not standing, the not kneeling for the national anthem, and he got drugged by all this. Another reason I hate the Wokesters.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like this dude's grandfather fought in World War II, and you don't understand why he ain't kneeling for the anthem.
Right.
That was
a bunch of racist pricks.
I think he was still playing when that happened, right? Wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, but then he went to CBS that year, and that was his commentary was just not good.
But I think he was gunshot at that point.
Yeah, maybe so. It just.
He didn't enjoy it.
That's a good question. Who do you guys think that's a current player that would be an excellent broadcaster? Because it is important to get these guys to do it, but whose personality shines to you,
man,
as the broadcaster?
I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of tired of seeing all these players thinking that they should all be broadcasters. I think there's people who are good at things. Just because you're good at football doesn't mean you're good at talking about football.
Right.
That's right.
Sure.
You know, and I think there's people who go to school and they put in a life's worth of work to be at the top of their game, like an Al Michaels.
Yeah.
That we need to get back to letting the pros do that. And if somebody does come through and work their way up through the ranks, like an Aaron Glenn on the coaching side, for example, when he retired as a player, he worked up from the very bottom and wanted nothing handed to him, didn't want to be treated special or nothing, wanted to come up through the ranks like like he had never played football in his life. And I respect the hell out of him for that. And I think we need to get back to let it. That's why I've quit watching so many of these damn pregame shows and these ESPN studio shows, because there's a bunch of former players in there that, you know, speaking damn ebonics and everything else, and I can't understand them. And it's just annoying.
You talking about, like, go back to Al Michaels, Bob Costas. I think Bob Costas is fantastic.
He is fantastic.
Those kinds of people. The you know, there's Brian Gumbels of the world. Is Greg Gumbel? His brother just died recently.
Yeah.
That's all. But I thought all those guys are terrific. I love listening to all of them.
Well, the in-depth of Bob Costas. What was that show he did on HBO? It was fantastic.
It was good. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Really, really in-depth.
Yeah, he's great, and you know, Gumbel is great on those shows too. You know, it's you know, and I look. Al Michaels is to use Clay's phraseology, is Joe Biden age, but he's still good. He still does a good job even at his age. He's got. I think Al Michaels. What's good about it? His voice is so good, and his voice just when you hear Al Michaels,
iconic.
Yeah, it's iconic. You hear football. It's kind of like John Madden.
Yeah.
When you hear John Madden's voice when he was alive, you like hear football.
Nostalgic too.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a
sorry about
Pat Summerall's kind of like that too.
Yeah.
You know.
I got the battery about to go dead on the laptop notification. Like, it's plugged in.
Oh, no.
But my little box here, the thing wasn't plugged all the way in.
Oh, geez.
So I apologize. That's what I was doing there. But again, there's guys that are great. I really like this conversation, by the way. There's guys that are really, really good. And I'm not saying former players can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how about we just quit throwing them right into the fire?
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Just because they're stars.
And y'all know me, I'm not scared to make things, you know, bring up the race aspect of things. They have extended, they have thrown a lot of black dudes straight from the field onto those desks. And I'd like to see a little variety there. And just because they're very good, just because they got a big name, again, it doesn't mean they're only trying to connect. It feels like on ESPN, for example, they're only trying to put people on there that connect to the urban demographic. Mm-hmm. Like, can we possibly get somebody on there that connects to somebody beyond the hip hop generation that doesn't speak in that same lingo? Because it sounds like I'm listening to a bunch of dudes at the barbershop chopping it up.
Okay.
Well, are we ever going to see another male sideline reporter?
Yeah, that's right.
No, they do the sideline reporter. They put women down there so they can say, yeah, we have women, and they're not actually putting them in the booth. That's why they do that.
Yeah, you're right. I have not seen any male sideline reporters in forever.
No, I mean, maybe college.
Yeah, maybe college. You're right. That's an interesting thing. I don't know. You know, it's always a female. No, look, it's kind of like, I guess, goes back to, if you train to do that, you should be given opportunity.
Absolutely.
So I'm fine
and
with
some of them are great.
Yeah. So, I don't have a problem with that. But
I just want some variety. I guess that's my point. You know, and but to your question, and I didn't mean to poo-poo on your question there about what current player would be great at it. I would like to think that Brady could. Not current, but we've talked about him. I think Brady can be great at anything he puts his mind to. He got handcuffed.
Yeah.
Real early on when he decided to be a part owner and do this. But he's in a unique situation. Goes back to that number. $25 million a year is hard to walk away from. It would behoove him to walk away from that $25 million, or then to work on a buyout, because they've limited what he's allowed to talk about. He's not allowed to go to any practices. He's not allowed to go to other teams' facilities during the week and talk about the games, the strategy, anything, because of potential conflicts of interest type stuff. And it's making for a bad product. That's not my problem. That's their problem. As far as current players, man, I'll be honest. I mean, I think Dak is a guy.
Dak would be a good broadcaster. I could see that.
I mean, like, who's in a lot of commercials and does commercials very well? Dak. And think of those guys who are really good in front of the camera and speak everybody language.
Yeah.
They don't just skew straight to redneck or straight to hip hop generation.
Why is Peyton not doing it? He is
funnier
than all of them.
Because, they do it. They've got that
Monday night show.
They got that Monday night.
I mean, but I'm talking about, like you're talking about like the pregame show?
He doesn't want to. It's been he's talked about it. Same
much
reason.
job?
Same reason he don't want to be a head coach.
Too much work.
Too much work. He's got his hand in a lot of things, and this allows him and his brother to have fun. The Manning cast is huge. It does. Sometimes it beats the other. It's always the leading alternate stream or whatever. And I just think they're onto something there. It works.
I watch it exclusively on Monday night.
Do you?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I watched it here and there. I'm still old-fashioned, but I probably, being such a podcast guy, I would probably like it a lot more because it keeps your attention span.
It does.
Yeah, it really does. It keeps you involved in the game. And then people that are not big fans of the game, like got a girl over or something, if you have that on, it's a lot easier because it's entertaining. So you can watch football Monday night.
Right.
I got you.
I was going to say Jason Kelsey, but I think he joined ESPN Monday Night crew. But
they're already retired.
Yeah, retired. He just retired, right? Just like recently. And he's one person that's like that. I think will do well. He seems like he's got the intelligence and personality.
Yep.
Now I wouldn't say the same for Travis. No, I wouldn't say the same for Travis.
No, I don't think Travis is, just based on the Taylor Swift deal and what he's trying to do, kind of a star clinger. He's trying to get into the pop culture realm.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't know what his next move is. I don't think it's putting on a suit and doing the analyst thing.
Yeah.
Definitely not in the booth. Maybe in a studio, like a Fox type gig. I can see him doing that. I can see Travis Kelsey on the Fox, the way that show is.
Yeah.
I don't see him. Definitely don't see him doing color analyst or play-by-play.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to.
Yeah, I don't think I want to either. I don't. He's he doesn't. He seems like he's kind of funny, but he doesn't seem like he's as bright as his brother. His brother's funny and smart.
His brother connects to the middleman and the common man. And that is something that's absolutely missing in sports these days, is guys that connect to your average guy.
Yeah.
Just your dude.
Well, since we can't find somebody that is going to do it, I can find somebody that's not going to do it with his Kermit the Frog voice. Patrick Mahomes.
That's right.
No, which I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. Patrick is destined for
Ownership.
whatever. Yeah, being an owner and whatever as far as that goes. I don't see him doing that. I don't know if we see Patrick in the limelight after he retires.
Yeah.
He appears he doesn't care to be.
I know he does his commercials. He's making that money while he can, but he's not polarizing, which I think is a good thing for once. Like he doesn't get involved in the political stuff. I mean, I think he probably leans right based on his family and everything and all that good stuff. But he doesn't get involved in politics. He doesn't tell the people how they should act and everything. And I don't know. I don't see him. He doesn't seem like a media whore.
No, not at all. Not at all. He doesn't seem like he's trying to put himself out there so much. He's not that way.
No more spotlight than the best quarterback on the planet needs. Huh?
Yeah, that's
It's got to be a lot to deal with.
And speaking of what you were just talking about, how Peyton doesn't want to do it, and this broadcasting, it's a tough job. Those guys are on the road constantly. I was listening to Kirk Herbstreit talk about it. Something like he had like 4 games in one weekend, had to fly around the country. I mean, it's a tough. Then a lot of those guys become alcoholics. Like Pat Summerall had that from it, and it's a big
I think you could see these kickers doing it more so. These guys all seem like pretty smart guys.
Yeah.
I think the guy for Kansas City,
Butker. Yeah.
But very good-looking fella, very buttoned up. I mean, obviously I agree with his politics. I'm not just saying it because of that, but he's not scared to speak out. And people like that. People like people who, unless they disagree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if nowadays after the big Trump win and conservatism being popular
cool again, right?
Cool again. Maybe somebody would give him give him the chance. I don't know, but that's somebody I could see doing it. And he's just the first one that comes to mind of somebody that I think could absolutely do it.
What about I'm glad you said kickers, because you made me just think about it. Evan McPherson, is he still with the Bengals?
Man, don't get me the line.
Well,
I don't
anyway,
know who he is.
he trademarked or something the name Money Mac as a kicker. So there shows some personality and some confidence there and some, entertaining values he may have.
Sure. I see what you're saying there. I smell what you're cooking. So, yeah, I don't know. As far as quarterbacks, man, a lot of these guys, I'm not familiar with the personalities enough to sit here and tell you. Because one problem is you got one particular dude sitting on top of the mountain right now kind of sucking a lot of the air out of the room.
Yeah.
I know, like a guy I absolutely cannot see, like Lamar Jackson. Like that's not a guy.
No.
I don't want to hear Lamar's thoughts on anything.
No, I don't either.
He's kind of a bubba.
Yeah,
Kind of a meathead, you know.
It's kind of like when Major League Baseball hired Big Papi. Have you ever listened to that?
That's terrible.
It's so bad. It's like he's like, oh, and they hit the boat, you know, and it's just like, are we listening to this?
But I love Big Papi.
I mean, I love him too as a person, like a personality. But it's so like I don't know what he's saying during the entire broadcast.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. But it doesn't mean I don't like him.
No. He's a likable guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, as far as that goes, I don't know. Audience, if y'all know anybody, we're not really getting a whole lot of comments. We got some viewers, but I think people are doing their thing, getting ready for the Super Bowl. Speaking of getting ready for the Super Bowl, just remind everybody, man, we are out here at Cameron's Garage inside Cypress Point Resort out here in Rankin County, right off of formerly McLean's Lodge. You know, everybody knows what that is, the old ride-through zoo. If the name doesn't just jump out at you and club you upside the head. Good little crowd already starting to pile in here. The buffet is open next door in the Cypress Point side of things. If you want to come by and do your post-church lunch with the family, the buffet is gorgeous. You can just look on my Facebook page yesterday. I posted some pictures of it. I was here at 11 working on something when they opened it up and got a chance to take some pictures of the food before it got assaulted by everybody coming to eat. But look, man, they got an entire new menu that they've launched this weekend here on the sports bar side. And of course, you can order the higher end food from over here. So like this evening when the steakhouse opens up, if you want a big old steak and seafood and all that, pasta, you can in fact get that without having to leave the sports bar side. But they got tater kegs, Teddy's soon to be favorite. Some of the new dishes. They got Southwest egg rolls. The quesadillas are fine. That's probably what I'm going to end up eating again today. I love their chicken quesadillas. Their wings are great. They got a bunch of different sauces for the wings. They have bone-in and boneless. We got garlic parmesan, Nashville hot, spicy garlic, barbecue, Caribbean jerk, lemon pepper, sweet chili pepper, which is really good, by the way. I had that the other day, ate somebody else's. Tiger sauce, not familiar with it, sounds good. They have Cajun dry rub and buffalo, traditional buffalo. And let's see here, just anything else. Of course, they got burgers. They got the boudin balls are a big hit. They got cheese sticks, loaded fries, pulled pork fries. They've got, the flyer said that they had, I'm not seeing it on the menu, but I know they got brisket sliders today. Smoked brisket sliders. They also have, I got the hamburger sliders the other night for supper. Well, when we were doing all the sampling, they were good. I actually I took one leftover to the house and I ate it last night before I went to bed. So they got plenty of good food.
Always a good time
here
to eat right before you go to bed, right?
Man, I dozed off on the couch watching a show on Netflix, Wrestlers,
Yeah.
from a few years ago, a reality show. And I dozed off and I woke up. I should have just got up and gone straight to bed. I was obviously tired, but I was like, I think I have a slider in the fridge. It won't be no good tomorrow. Don't know why I thought it wouldn't be, but just in case, I went on and scarfed it down.
I'm laughing because I've done that so many times.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, so guilty of that.
Clay, can I add to your ad? You know, great sponsor here. You told me about the cabins earlier. So my wife and I do. People call it staycation now, but an old friend of mine named Jack Jennings invented the thing before it was staycation called ITOT. That stands for in town, out of town. So he and his wife would get a hotel and go out to dinner or whatever. So somebody can make a weekend coming out and staying at the cabin, watching some games here one night and having the steakhouse the next night. Man, that's a great thing. I didn't know until you told me about it earlier. Yeah,
it's great, man. They got I think 27 cabins on the backside of this property. It's called Cypress Point Resort because it's a resort. It's not just not a strip mall. It's not a bar. It's not a restaurant. It's a full-fledged resort. They got a general store. They sell high-end steak, and they got a butcher shop with fresh foods, with fresh meats, high-end meats. They've got the ride-through zoo. It's closed this time of year right now. It'll open back up in the spring. They got a massive wedding venue in the back, the lodge back there, 27 adjacent cabins, one big master house. So if you're getting married, you've got the master where the bride and groom and their camp can stay. Anyway, if you get to drinking a little too much out here, I think it's like roughly $80, give or take $10. You can rent a cabin back here in the back, and I think you got to midnight to make that decision. You don't have to make it on the front end. You can be like, hey, give me a key to a cabin, go back there and crash. And these are nice cabins. They got internet, cable TV, showers. But I've stayed in it twice. They're nice.
Cheaper than a DUI.
Way cheaper than a DUI. And frankly, it's about cheaper than what an Uber costs from out here to back to anywhere.
And certainly cheaper than a hotel.
And you don't have to worry about getting back to your vehicle the next day. You wake up, drive home, all good in the hood.
That's a really good idea.
It really is. So if you think if you plan ahead a little bit, come out here. just start your night here, end it here, go back there in the cabin, get ready, whatever, get a little staycation or in-town,
cool.
out-of-town type thing. Maybe get a couple couples together or whatever, your friends, and come out here. There's always live entertainment here. It's just a blast. What they've got going on here is phenomenal. There's nothing else like it. And I can't express it enough that you need to get out here and support this, because dang, if it goes away, nothing's going to replace it.
Yeah, and they're already starting. Speaking of that, people are trickling in here pretty good.
Yeah, we got a good crowd here.
Good crowd.
We got a good crowd. There's probably 50 people here right now. And kickoff ain't for another 5 hours.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, look, I don't think we got to beat this upside the head too long today. Who you guys picking?
Teddy, I'll let you go.
Well, right now, according to what I'm looking at, and I do point spreads. Chiefs are -1, and the over/under is 48.5. And I said earlier, I think it's going to be a shootout. I still think it's a field goal. I'll go. My buddy Thomas Korn has 1-1 on the board, so I will go 31. Well, that ain't gonna work. 31-28 Chiefs.
Chiefs?
Yeah.
I'm going to do 31-27 Chiefs. That's what I picked the other day. I'm going to stick with it. 31-27 Chiefs. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
That's it.
And until somebody beats the man, I'm going to ride the man. I'm probably jinxing him. Wouldn't surprise me at all if that score's flipped. But I do agree it's going to be a 3 to 5 point game, and the Chiefs win.
I'm going with the Chiefs 27-24.
So do y'all think, with all the attention that the naysayers, or whatever you want to call it, just haters, whatever the word is, y'all think the refs are going to be a factor because everybody thinks they're so favored the Chiefs? They favor the Chiefs so much.
Absolutely not. I think it's actually going to hurt the Chiefs. I think if there's a 50-50 call, the Eagles get it.
Because they're so scared right now. Even Roger Goodell had to make a comment about it this morning.
And you know what? And that makes the three-peat even better if you win despite that call, and we all pick the Chiefs to win.
And look, I'm going to tell you, I think that this whole thing about the refs favoring, I think that's nonsense. I don't think sports are rigged.
Me either.
I think that people sound like complete idiots when they think the refs are in it for another team. That's the most meathead, dipshit, dumbass thing that anybody can say to me in 2025, is they think that the refs are in it for another team.
Is it too big to rig?
It's too big to rig. It's like assuming the moon landing didn't happen. The amount of people that would have to be into it as a part of it, all the plays that would have to be scripted. You couldn't do it. It's too many moving parts.
Yeah.
Right.
It's. And then the thing is, the risk reward. Like, what if it got found out? Then it would ruin football forever. You just kill your brand.
NBA referee Donahue got in trouble.
Yeah, and there's another NBA player right now being investigated by the Department of Justice or somebody for potentially throwing games.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying, in 1919, the World Series was fixed, and the Black Sox scandal. That destroyed baseball for a while. Babe Ruth actually is what saved baseball. Because he came around at that time. Had it not been for a Babe Ruth, baseball was in a pretty bad position after that. That's what they say a lot. I know it wasn't necessarily a rigging thing, but I've read the same thing about basketball, that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird coming along really saved that sport. And then, of course, Michael Jordan and everything. So, it's interesting how, specific players can save an entire sport, entire sport industry.
Since I keep up with the point spreads, what was your score? 27-24?
Yeah, that's what I say.
That's an over. And Clay was an over.
31-27, both over.
That's an over. 48.5. I know what they're thinking.
I think that may be the most points the Chiefs will have scored all year, right? If they do it.
But
it's been a low scoring year for them.
But like I said, I think the Chiefs are going to try to bottle up Saquon, which is going to open up the Eagles to throwing, and I think it's going to come into. It's always a scoring contest, but I think it's going to be a high scoring contest. And also think about this. That is a very offensive-friendly stadium. The Superdome is very offensive-friendly.
So I got two different AI predictions here. Why don't we do this for fun?
Okay.
Grok, the XAI, Elon Musk AI system, is 38-35 Chiefs. And let's see here, ChatGPT is 34-31 Chiefs.
Okay.
Both 3-point games.
And over.
And Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs on. both AI systems are picking the Chiefs by 3, within a few points. Being very close, more than 30 points, and
Right.
and I went 31-27 before ever seeing either one of those. So I'm kind of in the same vein. What's that? 4 points.
So if that's right, does that mean if they're AI, does that mean we're RI, real intelligence? Or are we considered HI? What are we?
Yeah.
What is HI?
Human
Human
intelligence.
Human intelligence. I thought what I thought, but I was like, well, that seems too obvious.
Well, I said RI first, real intelligence, but
Okay.
I mean, you got to be considered because there's going to be a time when, if there's probably going to be a disclaimer on a video or something, whether it's AI or whether it's human or real intelligence. At some point, there are going to be disclaimers.
Yeah. Look, we got a lot. I want to hit the prop bets. Do you got that pulled up?
Yeah. Hold on.
I want to wrap this up in about 10 minutes because I got the band needs to get set up.
Gotcha.
By the way, we got a great band today, Acoustic Crossroads. I don't know if there ain't too many places. There are some people corrected me. There are some other places that have live entertainment today, but they ain't got the Clay Edwards show with Reddy, Teddy McRaney and Sean Durkheim.
That's
But
right.
Acoustic Crossroads is going to be playing from 2 p.m., 2:30-ish. The sooner they start, the sooner we finish, the sooner they start. They're trying to get set up in front of us. So you got the Acoustic Crossroads up to Kickoff. You got Southern Beverage, Bud Light, Budweiser, Mick Ultra has hooked us up with some phenomenal door prizes, including a stainless steel fire pit that's got Stella Artois, the beer brand, etched into it. Looks really cool. We've got a old school wood crate. It looks like a wood crate. It's actually an insulated cooler, Budweiser cooler. And we've got 2 Busch Light fold-out chairs, like the tailgate chairs. Fit in a bag.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm thinking about the cooler, Clay. Sorry, how I'm going to steal it. I mean, I'm not going to steal it.
The cooler's great, I know. If I was ever going to rig one for me, it's the
Talking
damn
about
cooler.
rigging. It's like, oh my
Damn
God,
cooler.
Clay Edwards won the cooler.
Shocker.
I can't believe this.
Hey,
Look at that.
Hey, before we get away from that sports line, their projected score is 27-25 Philadelphia. So that's the only one we've seen from Philadelphia yet.
Yeah, and like I said, I was told, top to bottom, Philadelphia actually has the better roster if you look at all pros and whatnot. But again, you can't take into account.
Better roster doesn't mean better team.
No, you can't take into account experience,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
knowing how to close. Back to the door prizes real quick. We have another awesome door prize that the owners of the facility here donated from their other business, Tire Depot. 2 great locations to serve you, Byram and the Reservoir. It's called a Turtle Box. It's a Bluetooth speaker that's 100% waterproof, but you can literally throw it in the pool or down the river and let it float with you, and it never skips a beat. And that $400 retail value.
That's awesome.
That's what they sell them for $400. I mean,
Wow.
that's the price on these things, and we've got one of those. So the last 4 winners, or the last 3 or 4, something like that, whatever the big 3 prizes are, at the end, the first of the grand prize winners can get to pick which one they want. The second, the third. So, and we got tons of shirts, hats, other small giveaways that we'll be doing throughout the day. You buy a bucket of beer, you get a ticket, boom, you're qualified.
That's awesome.
If you scan one of these table tents I got with, you put your email in or cell phone number, you get an additional entry, as well as I'm not one to spam people, but we will send you an email or a text or whatever every now and then when we got a big event. So you get hooked up on our email list. And there'll be all kind of great stuff for people who do that. Potential prizes and this, that, and the other. I may give away some FAFO stuff today too. We'll see how it all shakes out. Sean, real quick before we get out of here, what are the biggest prop bets today?
Well, the MVP odds, Patrick Mahomes is a prop bet to win the MVP.
I like
and then
it.
it's obviously Saquon Barkley.
Well, he's the real MVP anyway. I'm sorry. These other guys, it's just that is a participation award, giving it to anybody not named Patrick Mahomes while he's still playing the game and playing in damn Super Bowls.
I mean, and it's definitely a quarterback award.
You're gonna tell me there's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes right now?
No.
You're gonna look me straight in the eye and tell me that?
No, not at all.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's a joke. And they're trying to prop these other guys up. So next season when they play head to head, oh, look at this, we've got back-to-back MVPs playing each other. That's all like how they rigged the system with the preseason polls in college football. So they have these big matchups they can it's 1 versus 2. It's a top 10 matchup. The MVP awards turn into a joke. It's no more serious than the Pro Bowl as far as I'm concerned.
Here's another awesome prop bet. I told earlier about Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce over 60.5 total receiving yards. I think he blows that out of the water.
Yeah.
60 and a half isn't a whole lot for him in a Super Bowl.
But he's a big game guy.
Yeah.
He's a big game guy.
Hey, and if it's going to be your last game, why not go out like that?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't. That's tough. I don't know. I would stay away from that one, but it wouldn't surprise me if he gets it.
Yeah, Fangio's going to be working his defense to cover Kelsey. I mean, that's going to go on. So we'll. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Well, he had such a down year by his standards.
3 touchdowns in the regular season. That was it, lowest ever.
He'll get 2 today.
Saquon Barkley for the first TD in the game.
That's hard to say there. Okay, they obviously think enough of it to make it a prop bet. I would stay away from that. You just don't know what could happen. That's anything. I get it, but that's a big. I wouldn't bet on that. I would avoid that.
Saquon Barkley over 109.5 yards rushing.
Okay, here's the one. This one I really like. What will be the color of the Gatorade that's dumped on the winning coach? Yellow is the favorite for it, but you can pick purple, orange, red, blue, clear, or no Gatorade bath.
Well, if it's the Chiefs, it's red or yellow.
Okay.
Right? Because that's their colors.
Yeah.
It would probably be orange. If I had to bet, I would say orange.
I'm going to go with orange. It's plus 500 on orange.
Orange, yeah.
Actually, can't you rig that and see what the team's favorite flavor is?
Right. Yeah.
I would think you could rig that one.
I would think so.
Have somebody over there.
That one's not too big to rig.
That one's not. You can find out, though. They're like, what's Patrick's favorite color Gatorade? Well, then there it is. That's how we'll find out.
See, I like the prop bets, like who scores first,
right?
Which team? Who wins the coin toss?
Right. I'm trying to find ones like that on here too. Yeah.
National anthem linked. I don't know what it is, but that's always a fun one.
Guys, real quick while they're looking that up, tomorrow morning on the Clay Edwards Show on 103.9 FM WYAB or wherever you're watching this video, 7 to 9 a.m., we're going to have former Democrat politician, converted to Republican Mississippi GOP member Shawaski Young in the studio, a black Republican, former Democrat, coming into the studio to talk to me for the full 2 hours. Should be a great show to hear what led him from the Democrat Party to the Conservative Party. He had a big article in the Clarion Ledger a couple months ago. I highly recommend reading it. We're going to have Shawaski in studio. I hope it's as good as it has the potential of being. And hopefully I don't partake too much in the fun tonight, and I'm an entertaining host tomorrow, being a little sarcastic there. But looking forward to that. Tuesday on the show for the full 2 hours. He was such a hit last week. I'm going to have Chad McMahon back in the studio discussing school choice and what he thinks about all that. And then Sean's going to be out Wednesday. He's got a big trial this week, so we're efforting some more stuff for Wednesday. But it should be a big week of shows. Sean will be back Friday unless something crazy happens. So just be sure to tune into the radio show all week there, online, on podcast, and, of course, on 103.9 FM WYAB. Guys, did y'all find anything else?
I got some here. Will Patrick Mahomes be the first to plus 10 rushing yards?
Yes.
I will say yes on that one. I'm going to take that.
Is that first player, period?
Yeah, the first player to get 10 rushing.
Yeah, not just quarterback.
This
player.
On who gets the ball first.
Well,
if Philadelphia gets it, you can forget it. It's like
Saquon's going to get it, right?
Yeah. If they win the coin toss, which I don't know. The coin toss one's always fun to me because it's literally 50-50.
It's 50-50, right?
It's 50-50. There's no odds on the coin toss, I assume. It's 50-50.
Yep.
All right, guys, come out here. Join us. Cameron's Garage, Cypress Point Resort. Acoustic Crossroads is getting set up here in front of us. It's already a thick crowd in here.
Yeah.
I'm about to get something to eat. I think they are too. I'll be out here for the duration, most likely. Come hang out with us. The band's going to go from 2 to about 5:30. Then the game kicks off at 5:30. We got tons of door prizes we're going to give away, with the bulk of them, the grand prizes, being at halftime during the Super Bowl. That's the fire pit, the chairs, the cooler, the Turtle Box Bluetooth speaker at a $400 value. That's awesome. And who knows what else we'll be giving away. We got tons of shirts, caps, all kind of stuff from Southern Beverage, from the FAFO collection, and of course from Cameron's Garage. Sean Yerkron, the Yerkron Law Firm. Sean, tell people how to get in touch with you if they decide to F around and find out with a DUI today.
Yeah, if you're getting drunk tonight, which we know you all are, except for me, because I've got a trial tomorrow, so I can't have any fun. But that's what I'll do for you. I won't have fun. I'll actually work on your case if you hire me. 601-862-1320 or onetextlaw.com. Give me a call if you get a DUI tonight.
Ready, Teddy McRaney? You want to plug yourself at all, or just we good?
Yeah, I'll be in touch with y'all in peanut season. I have the best bowl of peanuts in the world. A lot of people believe, but I'll see y'all this fall. We'll be back in there.
Teddy, thank you for coming in and setting in a couple of shows with us here towards the end of the year. You did the college football stuff with us. You've done today with us. You've been a great addition, unexpected, unplanned, but great addition to this desk here. And look forward to seeing what next year brings from the sports show. We got some plans. We'll see how it all shakes out. It's been fun doing these.
Yeah.
It won't be the last one, I promise.
We made it a whole season, Clay. You think about it.
We did. We
Yeah,
had to take a couple weeks off here and there, but
Yeah.
we did it the whole season, and it's been fun. We've shifted locations from McBee's to here. We're going to be doing some more stuff at McBee's. I got a big concert announcement tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. on the Clay Edwards Show concerning maybe McBee's. We'll see. Listen in and find out. It's going to be a quick sellout, I imagine. I hope. And we got a lot more stuff planned. Appreciate everybody for creating these opportunities for us by supporting this. If y'all didn't support it, we wouldn't be able to do it. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It's been fun. Let's see where the future takes us.
Amen.
All right, I know where the future's about to take me.
Yeah.
A bar stool. Y'all stay blessed.
Yeah.